Can you visualize time inside the car?
I definitely visualize time.
Box, box, box. Box, 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 box.
Hi, I'm Talking Tire. Every episode, 3 guests in the box to break down what's soft, medium, and hard. Let's check it out.
Welcome to Box, 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 a quick pit stop into the world of Formula One. Episode 4 is about time. Time is the essence of Formula One because the stopwatch never lies. And we're going to hear from a driver, we're going to hear from the doyen of the media centre, a man who's been covering Formula One for more than 40 years. But first, let's hear from the boss of Formula One.
Box, box, box.
The next person in the box is the boss himself, CEO of Formula One, Stefano Domenicali. How is the boss?
Hi, Tom. Well, I'm very good. Just want to say hello to all the podcaster of Pirelli family.
Stefano, you've run Ferrari, you've run Lamborghini. Tell us, how different is running Formula One?
Well, I would say for sure it's different from one side, but you may say that is more or less the same on the other side, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for an organization. You're responsible for the people who love your product and follow you. You're responsible for the technology that you have to bring into the equation. You're responsible basically for the project. Therefore, it's something that in a way, they are all connected with a fil rouge of being a unique experience that I'm very privileged because, for an Italian to be part of this journey is something, well, goosebumps.
Well, do you miss the emotional roller coaster of running a Formula One team?
Well, of course, the adrenaline of racing when you see that from a different angle is very powerful. It's something that I was born with. And therefore, in a way, yes, but when you get older, you need to understand when there is the right time to do other stuff. So good memories of a good adrenaline, but adrenaline, you have a good stuff, bad stuff. Now it's a different one, but the vibes is always at the highest level.
Let's talk about the vibes, because what part of the job now gets you most excited? What gets the adrenaline going now?
Well, the adrenaline, first of all, is to make sure that all our fans who follow us are really the most happy people in the world. And we have a community that is made by the traditionalists, the ones that are following for one since they were born, and now, bigger and bigger, the new ones. We need to educate, we need to get in contact with them, we need to speak their language. So this is really something that gives us the right adrenaline. So we need to make sure that we are tuning up with all these communities. On the other hand, the adrenaline is related to all the challenges that I would say I call opportunities to develop this business. In the different side of it, we have a relationship with the team that gives you back a little bit of adrenaline because there are always some fights on the sporting side, of course. On the other side, we have the media landscape, the partners landscape, so many things. This is really the vibes and the adrenaline that keep you alive.
Look, when you think of where the sport has come in the 30 years that you've been involved, where do you think it's going to be in 30 years' time? Or is it impossible to predict that?
Well, I'm a little bit pragmatist. Difficult to say. If you just look back, not 30, 5.
Yeah.
5 years in Formula One. It seems to be in another era. So I don't know in that respect where it's going to be. For sure, I want to say something, maybe it's quite heavy. F1 will be the protagonist of the life of the people will be there in 30 years because, all the ingredients are there. The ingredients of connecting people, the ingredients of the right technology to develop as an accelerator, the ingredients of talking of something that is sport, but business and entertainment. At the end of the day, today, I can say that the F1 is the biggest sport entertainment in the world, and this is for sure what will be in 30 years.
Now, the drivers are front and center, aren't they? They're the heroes of the sport. You have worked with some of the greatest the sport has ever seen, and I'm thinking of Michael Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, etc. Can I ask you to name one? Who is the best driver that you have ever seen with your own eyes?
Well, I've just seen so many, and this is the beauty of this sport is in 30 years, more or less, I'm involved in Formula One. I've seen incredible people, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, but for sure, Michael, in my heart, represents something that is really unique.
and it's 20 years this year since his 7th and final World Championship. Do you remember that 2004 season fondly?
Tell me how I cannot remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember every single moment of the time we spent together, the incredible time, but also the most challenging time. So yes, absolutely, I remember very, very well.
Did you learn anything from Michael, just in the way he handled himself, the way he was such a team player, that helps you now?
I would say Michael was, I remember the first day he came in Maranello, when he was actually dressed not in red, because the first time that he did, it was before the start of the season, so he cannot do anything already fully dressed. I would say I remember very well because he came with a very pragmatic approach to be, a world champion. Very well known to be very direct, very tough in a way, in a German way. He came with a notebook, with a pen, writing down the things. And then I would say what was very, very interesting to see is the evolution that he had working with our team and the evolution of the team working together with him. That's really what I remember very clearly.
Listen, that is a beautiful segue into the final thing of this interview, which is, Stefano, if I can ask you to just click your fingers above the tyre here. She has a question.
Here's Tyre question. What kind of personality are you? Soft, medium, hard?
That's nice. Well, extreme wet. Extreme wet. I love the mountains. Extreme wet.
Great answer. All right, Stefano, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Great to
you.
have you on the show.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Ciao a tutti. Bye-bye.
Box, box, box.
The sport has changed a lot over the years, and the person you're now going to hear from has reported on many of those changes.
Box, box, box.
Next, to make a pit stop with us, we have journalist Michael Schmidt. Now, Schmitty, it's lovely to have you on the show. You've been doing this a long time. Exactly how long?
Well, much too long, I would say. I started in 81 as a freelancer, and then in 87 I moved to the company I'm still in, Motor Presse Stuttgart, which has several magazines like Automotor Sport, Sport Auto, Motorsport Aktuell, and obviously now, since 20 years, Internet.
I mean, 40 years
Yeah.
in Formula One. What a life. What have been the biggest changes you've seen in that time?
Well, I would say, first of all, safety, obviously. When I started, drivers still got killed or injured in accidents. We fortunately don't have that anymore unless there is real bad luck coming together. I would say, obviously, on the technical side, it's a much more scientific approach. In the old days, it was trial and error. You could see from that the cars were all so different because everybody tried to find, a solution. Now, obviously, the rules are much stricter, so it's less room. And in the end, from our job, it's much more organized. When I started, there were no press conferences, no press releases, nothing. You had to contact the people directly, otherwise you would have been lost.
How did you enjoy that, though? I imagine you had some great contacts in the pit lane, as you still do.
Yeah, but it took quite a while. The problem was, obviously, when you are German speaking, in those days, the people couldn't check what you write. Of course, if it had been something outrageous, it had been translated by the big agencies, and then a day or 2 days later it was in foreign countries in newspapers. But unless you didn't write, as I said, something completely stupid or something sensational, it was kept in German language. So it was very difficult from the people you had to talk to, whether they were English, French, Italian, for them to find out whether you are serious or not. So it took 2 or 3 years until they started to get the confidence in. So I would say that was quite a long process.
Now, you and Adrian Newey have had similar careers in terms of length. I think Adrian's first year in Formula One was 1980, you 81.
But he earns more money than me.
I don't believe that, particularly the New Deal, if rumours are true. But is there still room for one genius designer to make a difference in a team?
Yes, I would say yes, but not in the sense as we have seen it, with Colin Chapman, who brings up something completely new and it works or doesn't work. Sometimes he had some ideas which didn't work. But I think in terms of overall concept, whether it's the weight distribution, whether it's the way how the aerodynamics are laid out, it's not so much visible, but it's still possible, I would say.
Now, what about drivers? You've seen a lot of great drivers in your time. Can you give us a top three?
Top three. I mean, the obvious thing is, for me, the best was Senna I've ever seen. He was the most spectacular in a way.
What made him so good? Yes, he was spectacular, but was it a superhuman feel for grip?
Yeah, first of all, this raw talent, and then he won races probably nobody else would have won. On the other side, he was much more emotional than Prost, who was his counterpart. I mean, I think you have to add Prost in that list as well. Although he was completely different, he was not as aggressive as Senna. I mean, Senna, everybody knew when there was the yellow helmet in the mirror, they moved to the side more or less because it was like a warning. And Prost didn't have this overtaking image, but on the other side, he was more technical than Ayrton Senna. I think he contributed much more into the development of the car in collaboration with the engineers. And then I would say you still have to say Michael Schumacher. He might be beaten by Lewis Hamilton. We don't know how his career will pan out. He goes to Ferrari. Maybe with another title, he will be then the greatest.
How did Michael transform Formula One at home in Germany?
Yeah, completely. I mean, Formula One was not on the list in Germany, you could say, not on our globe. It was a side sport, and all of a sudden it was a premium event. Everybody was watching television. I think the best numbers we had was 18 million or something like that. That was like a soccer match in the World Cup from Germany. So these were numbers, and they have been unrepeated even at Vettel's time. It was like a little bit in Germany compared with Boris Becker in tennis. Boris Becker made tennis alive in Germany.
You've always been a great judge of drivers. When you're analysing them, is it purely about lap time, or are you looking for something else?
Well, mainly is lap time, because I don't count to the people who go out on track and then watch the drivers and say, oh, he's outstanding. For me, they're all quick. But to be honest, when I stand in a corner, everybody is quick, even the slowest. I can't see the difference, because one might break 3 or 4 meters later. I can't see that. There are other people like, Franz Tost, for example, who are experts in that. But it's the results, obviously, but also the way how he achieves it. I like drivers who try to apply some thinking of what they are doing, who have a little bit left in the brain to realize this is still missing on the car, and in the end they only go to the limit once they have made the car as they like it.
And can you compare eras? I mean, can we compare what Prost and Senna would have done versus Hamilton and Leclerc today?
I don't think so. I think you can watch each era separately, and then relative to their opponents on those days, you can make a judgment of, let's say, Hamilton and Leclerc relative to their opponents today. But I think it's impossible, because now they have so much more tools, to understand their car. It was much more difficult in those days.
Is the DNA of Formula One the same today as it was 40 years ago?
Yes.
In terms of what's required to be quick in the cockpit and to design a quick car?
Yes, I think the DNA has always been go for the win. There's nothing else. Go to the limit, and if there's a problem, we solve it. I mean, the best example was Corona. Formula One solved it. They survived, although it was probably the sport for which it was the hardest to survive, because we are a worldwide sport. We travel around the world, and still they made it with 17 races in 2020. And that showed the DNA of Formula One, I think, more than anything else. There was a problem, we solved it. Everybody had to be disciplined. Many people probably didn't like to run around with a mask, but it worked. And that is the DNA of Formula One for me.
Look, one final area for us to discuss are the team principles, and how they've changed. When you started, a lot of the teams were run by, the people that owned them.
Yeah, that's completely different, yeah.
And now it's completely different.
Yeah.
And 8 of the 10 people running the teams now are former engineers as well. Just who in the current pit lane impresses you in the team principal role?
I would say Stella, because he came out of nowhere. I mean, he was an engineer, a race engineer, then an engineer, and all of a sudden he became team principal. And he has a very methodical approach, and he's quiet, and he's not somebody who impresses with with quotes and stuff like that. He's somebody who is doing things rather than talking.
Well, we've had him on Box, and I feel that every time he opens his mouth, I learn something about motor racing. He's that kind of guy.
Exactly, yeah. You can see whatever he does, there's a reason for that, and he's very, very good in explaining it.
I love his personality. And on that topic, Michael, I'd like to introduce you to Taya, our good friend.
Yep.
Can I ask you to click your fingers above Taya because she responds with a question? Can you click your fingers?
Here's Tire question. What kind of personality are you? Soft, medium, hard?
I would like to be hard, because hard means a long life. Everybody wants to live long. It means you can trust the hard tire, and it's consistent.
Okay, and in your job, being hard, is it a hard personality, or do you need to be a soft personality to get the story?
No, I think in the job you are rather medium, yeah. Sometimes you have to be hard, but on the other, it doesn't make sense to be hard for the sake of being hard, you know.
Yeah. Michael, what a great chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Box.
And finally, the driver, a man who's managing time in a different way.
Box.
Well, dropping by for a pit stop, we have Williams driver Alex Albon. Alex, great to see you. How are
Hello.
things?
Good, warm, nice and warm.
Nice and warm. Nice and dark on top as well.
Nice and dark on top. This is Al Natural. But yeah, it's actually not good to have this kind of color hair. I did a track walk this morning, and just gets really hot.
Yeah.
I wanted like some water just to cool my hair down. But
Well, now we know why you went blonde. But I wasn't.
yeah, and that's not the reason. But yes, it did help.
The reason we wanted you on the show wasn't
Yes.
to talk about your hair color.
Okay.
It was to talk about time primarily.
Okay.
Can you visualize time inside the car? I mean, what does 1/10 of a second look like to you?
I definitely visualize time. I'm actually one of the few drivers that don't run a delta on the steering wheel. A lot of drivers like to kind of have something to look at to know if that corner was quicker or not. A live timing. You know, if you're on a qualifying lap, you want to know if you're 2/10 quicker through sector 1, for example, or whatever. As you learn time in karting, you spend so much time. You know, you have a stopwatch, but it's only the full lap that it shows you your lap time. You create an inner time clock, and you start to really appreciate, does this line feel quicker? Is it quicker? And as I went through into like single seaters, Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1, you lose that because you have the live time of your lap, you know, on your dash the whole time. And you end up looking at it, you overdrive one corner, you try to make it up on the next corner, all this kind of stuff happen. So I removed it, and I went back to karting style. And so a lot of the time I don't know. I know, I have a sense of feeling. I know what's a good lap, and I know I'll be, if it's quicker lap than the previous lap. But I rely on my feel.
Or how accurate is your inner clock?
Normally within a tenth. So I need a baseline to know what it is. But once I'm there, sometimes it happens though. I'll be like, that was a really good lap, and I'll come across the line. I have a function on my steering wheel to show me just before I cross the line if I'm ahead or not. And sometimes I get it wrong, but I'll be like, that was a really good lap. Oh no, it wasn't.
but equally, a little bit of oversteer, you know if you've lost half a tenth.
Yeah, oh for sure. And a lot of it is also around saving distance. So you could imagine some tracks, you know, keeping a tighter line or whatever. A good example would be turn 3, turn 4 in Silverstone. How wide you go out of turn 3, come across for turn 4, this kind of stuff. But you learn it as a kid. You get that feel. I returned back to my primal instincts.
And how much does adrenaline play in performance? Do you rely on adrenaline to get you to the level you feel you need to be at as an athlete?
Yeah, not really, no. I would say I'm a bit more the opposite. I kind of try to manage everything. You know, I'm not someone who needs to psych themselves up or get in the zone. Don't need to listen to music before I drive. Everything's very calm. You know, need to be by myself.
Are you like Kimi Räikkönen? Do you sleep before
I'm
a race?
I'm not relaxed enough to sleep. So I think there's a lot of adrenaline in my body the whole day, and so I don't need to spike it. I just need to keep it there. I don't need to make this. I think it would be tiring to have this, to feel, I don't know, anxious or buzzing the whole day. So I just kind of do my own thing, keep it chill.
And do you get more nervous before qualifying or the race?
Always qualifying, yeah. I don't know why that is, and I've asked myself that very question. Why qualifying? But I'm very relaxed. I get much better sleep on Saturday night than I do on Friday night. But I don't know why.
I think I can answer that for you, because I think as a racing driver, it's
Yes.
all about lap time and how fast you are, and that is what you're measured on
That's true.
on a Saturday, whereas Sunday there are other factors
yeah,
at
that's
play,
very
like
true. That's true.
tyre wear, strategy.
I think our identity as a driver and our comparisons, everything's always done around qualifying, head-to-heads. That's like people. It's such a survival sport. You're against your teammate for most of it, so you just got to be better than them. And so, qualifying, equal tires, equal fuel, equal weight, whatever it is, equal conditions. Then it's all about that one lap. So.
And do you get excited when a teammate of the quality of Carlos Sainz is signed by the team? Does that challenge excite you for 2025?
It does. I think people can take it two ways. They could either be threatened or they can see the challenge. I definitely enjoy that challenge. I feel like it's something which, you could argue, not so much myself, but I think externally people must probably think, okay, well, finally it's someone of a high level caliber that Alex can go against. For me, it's like perfect. Bring that on. I love that. Show people what I can do. So it's good. It's good for me, as you said. I think everyone has a stock around the world, and I need that person to go up against to show people what I can do.
And Williams certainly has the driver lineup in 2025.
Yes.
To do great things.
Yes.
How high can you climb with this team?
It will be a challenge. I think myself and Carlos, we know, most probably me more, because I've been in the team for a longer amount of time, just how high that mountain is that we have to climb, how steep it is. We've shown our cracks, through this year. We've been exposed. But I'm really excited. I see the changes that are being done in the background, and you have to have these cracks to really create a solid foundation. And it's good we're doing it now, as we're not scoring podiums. I'd rather it happen in these moments, for example, qualifying in Zandvoort, than later on when it matters more and it means more. So yeah, we're on the up. We've still got ways to go, and the top teams are doing an amazing job. So to out-develop them is going to be a huge task, but we're up for the challenge.
Quick, would you rather?
Yes.
Would you rather win one driver's title or 10 constructors' titles?
Driver's title. I love Williams, but I love myself more.
That's probably a great place to end it, but we're not going to end it quite yet, because can I introduce you to Tyre? And
Tyre,
yes,
full stop.
This is the name Tyre.
Tyre.
As you can see, it is a soft compound,
It is, yeah.
Pirelli tyre.
C5.
And if you were to click your fingers over Tyre, she has a question for you.
Click my fingers like a mouse pad.
No, click.
Sorry. That's even worse.
Here's Tyre question. What kind of personality are you? Soft, medium,
God, I
hard?
thought it was going in a bit of a weird way there. I'm a softie.
Always?
No, I think I'm bipolar. I think I'm hard.
Hard as nails in
Hard
the
as
car.
nails in the car, yeah. And actually, I would say it took a while. It does take a while for teams to understand that. Williams themselves as well. They see me as this kind of, happy-go-lucky kid. Not a kid, adult, outside of the car. But in it, I'm a bit different, yeah.
Do you have to be? Do you have to be?
I don't think you have to be, but that gives me my performance. So yeah, to be that. I don't think in some ways I do think if you're too nice outside, it's not going to work inside. So there's a bit of that for sure.
Okay, fantastic. Alex, thanks for stopping by for a pit
Thank
stop.
you very much. Thank you.
Box, box, box.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this episode of Box Box Box, please share with your friends. And also look out for the next episode, which is going to be all about adrenaline. Bye for now.